on Headline News. 2 victims of cowboy builders call on the government to do more to protect the public. Hello, you're watching Headline News. I'm Michael Jones, and a very warm welcome to the programme. A group of local residents have started a petition warning people about the increase in cowboy builders across the northwest. Sarah and Sam both fell victim to rogue builders and are now calling on the government to protect the public from future instances by implementing new legislation. Well, that's TV caught up with Sarah. He said the consequences of cowboy builders can have a devastating impact on the lives of local people.
I wouldn't wish another family to go through my situation. The law doesn't protect the individual, and it's just getting worse and worse. People are reaching out to me with their stories, and I don't think the government actually realise how big a problem there is out there, because there's nowhere for people to turn to, and they're just being left in silence. And it's about time that we was actually heard now, and change is inevitable. It has to be. There are decent professional builders out there, and they're the ones we want to protect from being tarnished by these road builders, and they need to be put a stop to. There needs to be consequences where they can't carry on trading and targeting victims and having the luxury lifestyle through crime. But this is just the start. What we want to do now moving forward is bringing all the victims together to get more of a realistic figure of how many victims there are out there, because I don't think Parliament actually appreciate how many silent victims there are.
Well, that's TV also spoke to Sam. He lives in Lancashire. He explained how his job as a policeman initially made him embarrassed to share his story, but he did not want other residents to go through the same experience. He said they are asking the government to consider a licensing scheme for builders so the individual is held more directly liable, not just the building firm. And Sam told That's TV how new legislation will not only protect consumers, but also legitimate workers.
I guess you're a little bit naive and a bit ignorant to the process. You sort of don't think it'll ever happen to you until it does. The impact it has on sort of your family, your relationships, your finances, all of it, it's just devastating. And everybody seems to think that there's protection in place. People mention trading standards, and you think you get a solicitor and all of that, but all of the processes are complicated. They're slow. Sort of trying to seek any form of redress in terms of monetary compensation or money's owed and things like that is expensive. The problem is one of sort of a balance of jeopardy. Sort of like I said, tradespeople can act how they like because they're protected by a limited business. And when things go wrong, they can basically shut down their limited business and they absolve themselves of all responsibility, and they don't ever face any consequence of their action. What we'd like and what we're aiming for is sort of a licensing scheme in which, if a builder does act in a way or produces work which is unsafe and dangerous and all that sort of stuff, then they're held responsible personally. So if you want to become a builder, you have to be licensed. You have to perhaps prove that you're qualified and things like that. And when something does go wrong, you're held accountable for it.
Well, Conservative MP Mark Garnier has introduced a new bill calling for the mandatory licensing of construction companies to ban cowboy builders. The bill is being debated in Parliament on the 19th of November. The government spokesperson also said they are committed to working with the construction industry and with local authority trading standards to improve consumer protection and to take action against rogue builders, for example, giving enforcement bodies the power to impose tougher fines. In other news, hundreds of local residents dressed in pink this morning to attend the Bella Greer Festival of Life to mourn the loss of a teenager from Lytham St Anne's. Bella Greer, aged 14, was found unresponsive at her home in Cypress Point on October the 5th. Her mother, Sarah, performed CPR but was sadly unable to resuscitate her. Her family are now fundraising to help young people struggling with their mental health and bullying. The money raised will be used to fund packages for school and higher premises where young people can meet and talk about their feelings and problems. A raft of new powers have been approved by councillors in order to drive forward plans for a £65 million university campus in the centre of Blackpool. Measures given the go-ahead by Blackpool Council's executive included the authorisation of a compulsory purchase order to buy up properties and businesses needed for the regeneration scheme. The planning application is expected to be submitted before the end of the year for what will be called the Multiversity, offering vocational courses to local people. And in sport, it was a disappointing evening for Blackpool FC's development squad, who were beaten 3-2 by Carlisle United in a Central League Cup. The Tangerines faced Carlisle following their opening group game defeat to Barrow AFC. Carlisle took the lead in the first half through Danny Butterworth before extending their lead through Terry Blad's brace after the break. Jake Daniels and Josh Miles pulled goals back for Blackpool, but ultimately it was not enough as the Seasiders suffered their second loss of the cup competition. And we'd love to hear what you think, so please do get in touch with your views, or if you have a story of your own that should be on the show, follow us on Twitter. We're on @That'sTVLancs. Get in touch on Facebook by searching for That's TV Lancashire, or you can write to us by dropping an email to lancashire@thats.tv. And that's your headline news. Coming up next on That's TV, it's the local weather, but from me and the rest of the news team here, it's goodbye for now.